My name is Derek Lewis. I was born and raised on the southeast part of Washington, D.C. My mother raised 8 boys, and I'm one of the oldest. At 9 years old, we moved to Atlanta. My mother and father at the time were going through a painful divorce. My father abused her. So I picked up that learned behavior of him, and all I knew was how to mistreat women. My mother grew us up in the Lord, but at the same time, I was hard-headed. I went to jail at the age 16. And while I was in jail, my mother came to visit me. And she said, okay, if this is what it's all about, then you stay here, because I didn't raise you that way. And from that point on, for a good 10-year period, in and out of jail, I was there, lost soul, reckless. I got married at a young age, had a woman pregnant out of wedlock. Our relationship was toxic. I didn't know who I was, she didn't know who she was. But we tried to make it work. It ended up in a divorce. From that point on, there I was, broke, busted, and disgusted. No job, no nothing. Couldn't even be a man to take care of my own family. So I jumped on the bandwagon, and I took a chance to say, okay, California. I started working for Trader Joe's, and I worked the post office. There I was, so prideful. I thought I was making money. I was in hog heaven. At the same time, while I was living in Castro Valley, living with family members, I met a young lady, took that instance, and we moved in together. At the same time, while I'm living there with her, I got so caught up on the social media of Facebook, Snapchat, the chat room, all the above. And there it was, with that relationship and living in sin with the woman, my soul was pulled just like Solomon was with the women and 700 concubines. I was all over the place. I was a wreck, but I still wouldn't acknowledge it. I kept going to church. I was going to church in Oakland, holding up the video in one hand, you're still holding the Bible in another hand and trying to make them both work. Never, ever. And there I was, singing the choir on Sunday morning on the praise team. I just stood up in the middle of service while the pastor was speaking. And I left there, jumped in my truck, and I drove back on 580, and I looked up and I saw these 3 crosses. I pulled up in the parking lot on John Drive, and there, walked into the front door, I met a greeter, beautiful lady. Her name was Viola Fung. She greeted me with a love and a hug like no other to let me know that I belonged. And there she walked me over to the men's corner. And at that men's corner, I met Pastor Mark Campbell, Henry O'Neill, and those men just embraced me and said, come to Dawn Patrol on Wednesday morning. I was shocked. I went to Wednesday morning, Dawn Patrol. I had seen 200 men like no other. I had never experienced that in my life. But at the same time, I still was empty. I had a stroke in October of 2015. And there I was in an ICU for 6 days, locked in a coma. And the doctor told Pastor Mark, you need to get his mother out here because he's not gonna make it. Well, my mom and my aunt flew out to California, and there they were in the lobby with the 200 men praying. And when I woke up on the 6th day, my mother had the phone right there. And I saw the website and the Snapchat of all I was involved in. And she said, is this really you? God got a plan for you. And I said to myself, man, what have I done? This is not cool. This is not me. I got to make a change. And when I spoke, I said, God, either you kill me or heal me. And from that point on, started going through the process of recovery. And God just showed up like never before. I got plugged in a journey class, which is a 12-step recovery program that helps with addition of sexual addiction, gambling, alcohol, pornography, but a support group that is there to help you meet and understand the power of God and grow to another level. And at the same time, I joined a new group called More Than Conquerors class, explicitly for men only, where we talk about the confidentiality of sexual addiction. And through it all, I have come to understand that, hey, as I continue to live for Christ, but in the midst I'm dying to myself, at another level, God is totally engulfed me and taking me to another level. And I'm excited. Jesus is alive. And he let me know he's not done with me yet. And I am alive, and I love living for him, and I love serving him. 'Cause that's what I am. I am a servant and only. Life transformation in following Jesus Christ is the only way. And you can't do it your way. You can only do it God's way.